Yo, let's blast off. Compost Trump. Yeah. Big drama election in 3 days. Doing poll watch. And then I get swole with Will Neff, Agent, and Bradley Martin later. Is Trump losing his sauce? Does anyone have a blast off meme? Does anyone have a blast off meme? Gonna be a banger today. Can't wait. Big Hoss. Are we gonna watch Hitler Vera today? I don't know if I want to watch it. It's gonna bum me out. I'll do Donald Epstein as well. Audio in that clip was out of sync. You might want to troubleshoot again. No, I think that was just a specific issue with his own audio. Explaining tariffs to MAGA. Oh yeah. We got Walter Masterson. You going 1 rep max with Bradley? Are you kidding me? Bradley would smoke me on that. 1 rep max with Bradley. Ay, por Dios. Yo voy a votar por Donald Trump. Ay. Oh my God. I need to stop. I would rather Hasanabi sing the song rather than watch the stupid Hitler guy. Oh, Tyler Hitler Vera. Yeah. Guys, welcome to the Hasanabi broadcast. You already know this is the most radical MAGA of the left broadcast out there. Real radical, you know, anti-war, pro-healthcare, pro-workers' rights, anti-war, anti-hate. You can count on me never aligning with Keemstar on a fucking issue, you know. Just a bad guy overall. Yeah. Ay. Sing Earl's Gaza verse instead. Yeah. You see what Ethan said about you last night? Yeah, I did. I mean, I don't know what the fuck to say about that. Yeah, I'm Trojan horsing radical ideas into the left. Yeah. It's wild to see former friends doing the fuck Hassan ramp to try and farm, you know what I mean? Like that's like something that I did not expect. Like that is actually a little bit shocking. I don't know what else to say about it other than that. But yeah, I've been watching you for over a year and you've mentioned Tibet like twice. Like I barely know your opinion on it. It's so clearly not central to your commentary. Yeah, no, that's like that's such a funny thing to be upset about. It's I mean, it's not a real thing. That's just, I think that, look, if I'm going to be radically honest, I don't know what people's opinions are. I can't see inside of people's minds. But I suspect that like all the Israel anti-Semitism packaging that was cynical and really hurtful, but rather unsuccessful, didn't really work. So he's just like moving on to other stuff that he's getting directly from the Destiny community. And eventually he'll start talking about how I bought a car. And then he'll start talking about how I bought a house and how I'm a fake socialist for that reason. And then finally, America deserved 9/11. It's just like, that's just, you know, that's just how it works. What are you going to do? He's already said you're just a LARPer. Okay, good. If I'm just a LARPer, then why is he so obsessed? Why is he so upset? Yeah. Spoilers, dude. That's next episode. Yeah, I'm un-American. I've been watching TYT and a 3-year sub. Since TYT and a 3-year sub, your takes have always been the same. I know. People believe what they want to believe. I know. Are you disappointed? Are you surprised? I'm disappointed. I'm surprised. It is what it is. There ain't nothing I can do about it. Anyway, yeah. Instead, watch this about Jason Kelce. Oh yeah, that's a funny thing that Jason Kelce did. I don't know why people think people are so comfortable behaving a certain way.
Kelce. Hey, Kelce. How do you feel your brother's is back in Kelce, can I get a fist bump? Kelce, can I get a fist bump?
Oh, slam dunk, baby. Slam dunk. Also, fellas, is it gay to date Taylor Swift? Like, what? People's brains are so fucking rotted. I don't understand. Like, when people are so internet, they just, I think, have no sense of safety and security. And they literally think that like when your brain is so rotted that you can tell an NFL player that his brother, who's also an NFL player, is the F slur in broad daylight. Like, why have we reached this level of comfort? Like, how have we reached, like, you are doing internet shit in real life in broad daylight, that's crazy. Like, you're going to get your fucking ass beat, dude. Like, do you not realize that in the real world, when you do internet shit in the real world, IRL, like there's an action and a reaction, right? Like, do you not recognize that? Like, that's crazy. I just don't get it. I don't understand. If someone comes up to you, shouts slurs, it would totally be reasonable for that person to be in fear of their safety and engaging in proportional self-defense, fighting words, etc. Yeah, like before people go, like legally, you're not supposed to react that way. But it's like, what are you talking about? Like, fuck the legality of it all. Like, this is...
Kelce.
We already watched this one. We just saw this. I've never heard a phone make that sound. Like he slammed it so fucking hard that like I feel like the battery in it exploded. He smacked that shit so good that I think it literally fell directly face flat. Like, it fell face flat and it comfortably sat there. It was awesome. Like, look at that. Look, like it barely jumps back. It just falls directly face flat. Perfect slam.
Oh my God.
Who's the F word now? That's awesome. Hey, yo. Brother. That's tactical F slur. Now, he didn't have to say that, but it's a heat of the moment style situation. You know what I mean? Yeah. My man's slamming a cold one. He's got a, I guess, what is that? Is that a 12 pack? I guess it's a 12 pack that he's open carrying. And you walked up to him to call his brother the F slur. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you do that? Do you have no sense of safety? You have no sense of security. Do you not understand the danger that you have placed upon yourself? You are not on Reddit. You are not on Twitter. You are not anonymous in that moment, okay? You are talking to a guy who played football for the state that you are inside of. Like, I'm just thinking of all of the different ways in which this could have unfolded. And it's like, this is mathematically the worst possible time and place, and mathematically the worst possible person to do this to, because you got like a 300-pound guy in his own state. Okay. Cause like, if he's not on home turf, if he's in like enemy territory, that's maybe a little bit different. Like, at least you could just say like, oh, you know, if he was in like, I don't know, if he was in like New England or something, maybe that's a little bit different, right? But you are literally in home turf. Like, ain't nobody is going to be on your side. Okay? And there is a non-zero chance this dude has like at least some level of CTE. So you don't know what he is going to do. And he's open carrying. Like, you don't go up to a fucking lineman who is slamming a fucking beer while carrying a fucking 12 pack and just talk shit to their face. It does not make sense. Like, this, I'm gonna be honest with you, this went spectacularly for the other person, all things considered, because like, this is the path of least resistance for the other person who deserved worse. Okay. Like, this is, yeah, suicide by cop. Yeah, exactly. This is the civilian equivalent of the non-cop equivalent of suicide by cop, like walking up to an NFL lineman, a retired NFL lineman, and just talking shit directly to him in his own home territory as he's drinking a beer. It's like those motherfuckers who jump into the jaguar pit at the zoo. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? Slathering themselves with meat. Like, fuck is wrong with you? New thirst talk.
The way I would fuck him.
Really?
It's not even
This is not new. This is old. I've liked this already.
The wheels would come right off.
Wow.
This is not new.
The way I would fuck him.
Really?
It's not even funny.
Yeah, it's 9-4.
He wouldn't survive. The wheels would come right off.
Shut the fuck up. I would vibe with the Jaguars. Yeah, okay, good luck. And like the dude insulted his brother. You know, the dude would have brushed it off. It was about himself, but his family got dragged in. Yeah. Funny Walter Masterson. Yeah, it's right in front of me right here. Look, we got it right here. Explaining tariffs to MAGA.
It's going to take America back, baby. Donald J. Trump, man.
What's one of your biggest issues?
Probably going to be inflation, because I sell T-shirts and all that stuff.
Your T-shirt.
Bro, that's my favorite. Trump merch guys fucking talking about the tariffs is my favorite, dude. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is, I think, an analogy to what we were just talking about. Walking into the lion's den, slathered in meat, right? It's like the sheep for the wolf party type shit, you know? A Trump merch guy actively promoting Donald Trump is like chickens for KFC, okay? You are a drop shipper. Trump's tariffs will destroy your business, like more than anything else, okay? And I love that. I love that. For me, it doesn't matter, right? Ideology.shop. You can go grab your merchandise. It's American made in a union shop. That's who I work with. I work with union manufacturers made in the United States of America. The election collection is still out, okay? But he is fucking cooked. He's cooked. This is the dumbest thing of all time. It's something that I've made fun of quite a bit.
Are made in the USA?
No, my blanks, no. See, that's the thing Trump's talking about. If we tax them, hit tariffs, the same item they're making over there will cost the same to make over here.
We pay the tariffs.
Well, the companies pay the tariffs, not us.
China.
Dog, you're going to pay the tariffs. You are directly going to pay the tariffs. Doing union stuff is some MAGA left shit, bro. Yeah, I know. As you guys know, as the MAGA leftist, despite the fact that CNN, Tony O'Sullivan, in his Misinformation documentary, quite literally presented me as a counter to the MAGA communists that are spreading misinformation. There are some people out there who believe that I am the MAGA left. It's funny, so we'll just go along with it, I guess. You made a worst YouTubers rated by viewers list
according to audience reviews. So 5 Minute Crafts has a 1 out of 5 stars for posting unoriginal life hacks and misleading thumbnails that apparently pose major safety concerns for its children audience. Also at 1 star is Hasanabi for his low effort reaction content and political views. Less than 1
his low effort reaction content and his political views. Nice, man. Tell me why the fucking internet is not busted. Okay? Tell me why. Yeah. That was some high effort critique right there. I know. Look, there's nothing I can do about it. It is what it is. I'm sure that, yeah, I'm alongside for my political views, by the way. I am alongside fucking J Station, Dr. Disrespect. I don't even know who the fuck these people, and Miranda Sings. Like, at least 2 of the people on that list are like directly trying to predate on minors, okay? I love that the internet's assessment is like predators, guy who wants universal healthcare and no more wars. Predators, groomers, guy who wants universal healthcare, free college and no more wars. Oh, we are so fucking cooked as a nation, dude. We're so fucking cooked. Oh my God. Internet, bro, look at the number of reviews is literally 13 people. Yeah. My bad, bros. My bad, boys. Sorry. I should have never fucking defended trans people online. I know. It's really fucked up. Yeah.
China doesn't pay the tariffs. We do when they come in.
No, it doesn't work like that.
Like if I'm buying 1,000 shirts from China and there's a tariff on it, I'm paying the tariff.
Well, no, whoever's getting it imported in is going to pay the tariffs.
Yeah. I'm the business owner. I'm paying the tariff. China doesn't pay it. I pay for it.
Well,
like if I'm the business owner and I buy 1,000 shirts,
I see what you're saying.
China's not. Jolly. So I'm trying to explain.
Who pays the tariff?
They're paying the tariff.
Do you think that? You believe that?
I was trying to say, because I sell merch as well.
I sell you something for $10, right? You're going to sell it to him for $20.
Exactly.
But then I make you pay me $15 for it. Are you still going to sell it to him for $20?
I can sell it to him for 20.
If I raise the price $5.
Oh, it's gonna have to go up.
Right. So
Yeah, the consumer foots the bill.
You should post more 3 a.m. shores about your enemies. I have no enemies. Dude, these guys, once again, so much of this stuff is just like unironically coming from a place of just like not knowing a single damn thing about the issues that you advocate for. So much of this, yeah. This is a ridiculous take. Obviously, I just this is what I was referencing before. The radical shit. I don't have any statement that I can make beyond that. It's just ridiculous, Small business owner doesn't think he's a consumer too. Yeah. I found a post about you on another subreddit. It's getting ridiculous. Yes, dude. Reddit is a hostile territory, okay? Reddit is the best place to do smear ops. It is so easily brigaded. It's also incredibly pro-Israel in general. So like, and I have a broad avenue of attacks. I talk for 10 hours on politics every single day. When you do that, even if I wasn't talking about politics, wait, hold on. Fuck. I have a scheduling conflict right now that I have to figure out. Hell yeah, they posted an 8-second clip from years ago on a Ukraine subreddit calling you a Russian asset. Ha ha ha. I know. That's what I mean. Like, it's just, there's nothing. It's nothing. There's no juice. There's no sauce there. It is what it is. We're not doing hater talk. Okay. We got a lot going on today. Before I started watching you, I chimed in on random comment with some mid-sized subs, said I didn't know you, but you don't seem that bad. And I got major downvotes for not hating you, Lamont. I know. Everywhere. Even if you had a wrong take, it's crazy since years ago, and also you're anti-Russia. I know. It doesn't matter. The Redditors are getting annoyed. Yeah, I saw this. Like, even LSF is like, if Hassan was actually broadcasting terrorist propaganda, if you seriously believe that it's something he was doing, then why aren't you reporting him to the FBI instead of only trying to get him banned from Twitch? If these people seriously believe their own charges against them, they wouldn't be just wanting him banned. They'd want him arrested. And the fact that they don't say they don't says a lot about how little they believe their own accusations. Y'all ever think that the level of obsession people show for hating Hassan diminishes the criticism people have of him? DG's always trying to settle a score with Hassan, so I take everything they say with a mountain of salt. I've seen them make incredibly disingenuous arguments too many times to count, so I'll assume they're still doing it now. Whenever I see someone making a point about Hassan on something I don't know a lot about, I start to think, wow, maybe they have a point here. But then there's always something followed up with a claim on something I know is insane, psychotic, made up stuff. That combined with the fact that Hassan is on good terms with a lot of cool people and is disliked by a lot of very awful people makes it very easy for me and other people that are too into these dramas to dismiss a lot of criticism towards Hassan. Over time, and it all turns into just background noise. Yep, I think it goes for Destiny and everyone else though. Once these weirdos get locked onto a target, they make a big deal about everything someone else says, especially things that are out of context or edited to make it seem worse than it is. It loses all meaning. It's so tiring to see the negative/anti-Hassan threads and immediately being able to see the posters of all the top commenters are serial R Destiny posters from outside looking in. It's just so obvious what's going on here. The hate boner is so strong for Hassan, they have to delude themselves into thinking they genuinely care about Hassan's anti-Semitism in air quotes and equal enforcement of Twitch's rules in air quotes, which is really fucking silly because the guy they follow actually says the N-word. Anyway, yeah. There are people who are, who are deluded or they see the crowd and then they follow through, especially a lot of fans, right? But broadly speaking, like my most active, most vocal haters are some of the worst people you've ever seen. Okay. So that's it. And they all unify on that issue. That's like the one thing that brings everybody together. One thing that brings everybody at the table. You forgot to look at the reply on that tweet. What? Yo voy a votar. Oh, and for the memes, Hassan manifested this. Not only is Hassan supporting terrorism by playing Houthi music videos, he's now supporting Trump too. That's amazing. I think the hate doesn't stick because at the end of the day, a lot of people are fed up with the current system and do believe in your ideas to a certain degree. I think the hate sticks for people who just like don't really pay attention, and there's a lot of people who don't really pay attention. But I think when it becomes overwhelming from the side of the haters, they inevitably fucking turn around and go, all right, dude, maybe you're being a little fucking insane right now. How about you calm down? Okay. How about you fucking calm down a little bit? You're like, you got to add an L to the last part of it's portal. Donald Trump. Glorilla. Blue Wave Rovember is coming. I think so too. I'll be honest. I think so too. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe it's copium. My friend is a hater of yours because he says you're racist against white people. That's crazy, dude. Anyway, all right, let's do it. Kamala Harris campaigns in Wisconsin with Glorilla and Cardi B.
The 2024 presidential campaign in its last 3 days now, both major candidates making final blitzes in battleground states this weekend. We have team coverage this morning. ABC's senior White House correspondent.
I don't know if I'm crazy, but like one other vibes-based analysis that I will attribute to is that like Nate Silver is now talking about the poll hurting. And I think that that's a really interesting take from the guy who has been consistently saying that Donald Trump is like dead ass going to win 100p this close out from the race. Like he has almost always maintained the position that like Donald Trump is going to win, Donald Trump is going to win, Donald Trump is going to win. And now he's saying it's obviously a really close race, but for some pollsters, it's a little too close. Take, for example, this afternoon's polling release from British firm Redfield and Wilton. They polled all 7 of the core battleground states. And in all 7, Kamala Harris and Donald Trump each received 47 and 48% of the vote. Isn't it a little too convenient? Whatever happens, Redfield and Wilton, not a firm with a well-established reputation in the U.S., will be able to throw up their hands and say, well, we projected a tie, so don't blame us. I think the reason why he is seeing that he must hedge his reputation in this direction means that he's also seeing what a lot of other people are seeing as well. But it's based on polling averages. Dozens of polls have been released in each of these states in the past month. That greatly increases the sample size. Collectively, they've surveyed about 230,000 voters. By contrast, the median sample in an individual poll is 800 voters. In a 49-49 race, in a poll of 800 people, assuming 2% goes to third parties, the theoretical margin of error for a difference between Trump and Harris is plus or minus 6 points. Why is it that Nate Silver, who was consistently on the Trump is going to definitely win train, looking at his averages, now leveraging into the Kamala direction? Now, I'm not saying that, like, I'm not even faulting people for saying Donald Trump is definitely going to win. Okay. The polls are very close. And I have always explained to you that Kamala's chances got worse and worse over the course of the past couple of months. The more you saw of her, the more you saw like what she wanted to communicate, and the more she pumped her campaign policies, the more Donald Trump seemingly did better in the polls. That is a fact. Kamala Harris has run an objectively bad campaign. That is a fact. Okay? So having said that, I think that Nate Silver also sees what everyone else is seeing and is trying to at least hedge his bets in the opposite direction. A lot of people also forget that as our media cycle and attention cycle gets shorter and shorter, as our media cycle and our attention cycle gets shorter and shorter, the maximum impact is happening right now, literally in these last couple of days. This last week is a very impactful week. I am going... I might be a little overboard by saying this, but like the Tony Hinchcliffe Trash Island line was legitimately impactful. This is when people are fucking signing up. This is when people are paying attention, when they're like, fuck, there's an election going on. Let me take a look. Damn. He said Puerto Rico's a trash island? What the fuck? I think, is there a good progressive voting guide I can use for LA County? What we'll be using? DSA-LA is pretty good. Just use that. So I think that like, that's something that people need to pay attention to. I'm Puerto Rican American and my whole family was enraged when they heard that comment. We all voted against Trump. Yep. I go to high school in Florida with tons of Latinos, mostly Puerto Rican and typically Andrew Tate type guys. Think fuck Trump. Dude, if that statement, if that line, if the Trash Island line causes Voldemort to lose his fucking Senate run, I will die. Okay? That will be a glorious moment. Can you imagine? Turnout is bad in Philadelphia for some of the deepest blue areas. She's not going to hit the numbers she needs unless whites vote for her at a level we've not seen for a Democrat in decades. Yeah, I think I agree with that. I agree with that. That's what I've been saying as well. I think like this is a race that is going to inevitably come down to white women. And this is... this is a race that is going to inevitably come down to white women, specifically in the suburbs, and maybe some white men too. But most importantly, white women. That is what Kamala Harris is hinging her bets on. I think it's a bad bet. I think it's a risky bet. I think it's not a good idea at all. But I still do think that it's going to carry her across the finish line. I think also that Donald Trump's objectively awful race, objectively awful run is helping Kamala Harris because it's just reminding people of all of his worst qualities in general. Yeah, this is here. If you want to understand like how bad Trump is, how sauceless Trump is, this article, I think, does a pretty decent job of uncovering the problem. At the end of June, in the afterglow of a debate performance that would ultimately prompt President Joe Biden to end his campaign for re-election, Donald Trump startled his aides by announcing he'd come up with a new nickname for his opponent. The guy is an R word. He is R-worded. I think that's what I'll start calling him. Trump declared aboard his campaign plane en route to a rally that evening, according to the three people who heard him make the remarks, R-worded Joe Biden. That, like, I'm telling you right now, Chad, this is it. This is when you did too much internet. You did too much internet. You cannot run a campaign like this. You did too much damn internet, man. That's crazy. Normies don't care about ableism, though. Brother, literally in the real world, everyone says retard, okay? I'm just going to use it for now, for one moment, just so you understand. Every normal person uses it in normal conversations. Not a single person, notice how you reacted when I said it? Not a single person would ever find it normal for the president to say it. Do you not understand that? This is the exact same sentiment I keep repeating over and over and over again about. This is the exact same sentiment I am repeating over and over again about people who go above the boundary of permissible bigotry. Everyone has a very different set of standards. Okay? For example, I myself as a public figure, okay, I myself as a public figure do not use this word because there is a different standard for content creators. There's a different standard for progressive content creators. There's a different standard in comparison to the guys you went to college with. Okay? You not understand it. You just did? Yes, dude, I did. It's obviously not to the same standard as the N word. Shut the fuck up. Clip it, ship it, post it everywhere you want. Okay? Most people, especially younger people, might use it, but when the president himself is saying it, that's an entirely different thing. Okay? Do you understand? I have no idea why it's even considered a word you can't say. It's the euphemism treadmill. Originally, idiot was the unacceptable word, so people started using the R word as a substitute. Now the R word is also unacceptable, but idiot is back in fashion, and it is what it is. People always will seek out a new pejorative. People will always seek out a new pejorative. That's just a normal thing. That's just how normal communication works. I use a litany of different ableist language in general, like psychotic, crazy, things like that, synonyms. I am not pro R word. Why are we pro R word now? No, dude, I'm not. Not only am I not pro R word, I'm saying that like it's insane for a presidential candidate to come out. Oh my God. I am not. Don't say it then. Simple. Okay, I'm going to start banning people. All right. They've been calling you autistic for the past month, but they're going to be mad you say the R word. Yeah, I know. It's fine. I mean, I'm also incredibly neurodivergent myself, as you guys fucking know, but that's besides the point. It doesn't matter. Hassan, you're digging yourself into a hole. I'm not. The point is, you can't do this. And you certainly cannot do this as the president. You can't even do this, in my opinion, when the standards are different for someone who is technically a progressive content creator, right? Like, I'm certain that most Twitch streamers say it still. They let it fly like with regular frequency, okay? And even in a relatively contextually appropriate manner, it's still an unacceptable thing to say because the standards are different for a public figure, okay? No, hey, I don't care that much, but it's not like you had to say it to make your point. I think that's what some people are mad about. Yeah, I don't care. You can be mad about it all day, every day. Who gives a fuck? Suck my dick. Okay, let's continue. You got people on TikTok using acoustic and restarted. They'll be fine. If anything, more people will respect you for saying the full word is the TikTok buzzword. Yeah, like a lot of people look for like alternatives, but that is besides the point, okay? My point is, this is extremely online. You're hyper online. When you're the president and you think that this is an appropriate thing to say, you're hyper online. It plays into the larger problem with the Trump campaign. Okay? That is the point I was trying to make. Someone gifted you 20 subs. Kilo Grips, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Benign Burger, thank you for the 20 gifted subs. Now, having said that, of course, people use the word in private or in normal conversation everywhere outside of spaces like my own community. That doesn't mean that it would that even those people who use the word would find it appropriate for the president to say it. The standards are different. Anyway, I don't think his voters care, unfortunately. No, but there are people who literally, oh God, there are people who don't like Trump. They like the policies, but they can't stand how fucking annoying it is. Okay? Do you get it? Like, they can't stand how fucking unprofessional, how crass, how rude he is. And for those people, this kind of thing, like Trump's utilization of, or Trump even thinking that it would be a fantastic idea to use the R word on a public stage against Joe Biden, who ironically is experiencing like genuine mental decline. So I think it even is worse, right? Like, that makes it even worse. It's like saying that to someone with Down syndrome at that point. It's like, you are a fucking vicious, monstrous piece of, you are a vicious, monstrous piece of shit. Like, this was something that was a big deal in the debate, right? It was something that was a big deal in the debate. Like, Trump could not come across as though he was too aggressive towards Joe Biden, because then he would look like he was badgering an old man, kicking an old man who while the old man is down. This is the type of stuff that like normies. No. He didn't actually use it. He said he wanted to use it. He didn't actually use it in public. That would have been crazy if he did. Not equipped to talk about this. Please move on from this. Yikes. Not equipped to talk about this on a serious level. Anyway, he also called Kamala R-worded. A frustrated Trump lashes out behind closed doors. Oh yeah, this was he's using gamer words, dude. He's going nutty. Isn't Trump on a mental decline as well? Yes, he is, for sure. And I'm actually going to get to that. That's like one of the main stories that I wanted to talk about today. Rick Scott was clearly panicking during the rally. All these male right-wing figures don't realize that not everyone finds their echo chamber talk acceptable. Exactly. This is the JD Vance issue, right? JD Vance spent too much time on the right-wing podcaster circuit, so he's too groiped up. He had to fucking dial it back. He can't be talking about femoids who are, brood mares, right? Like, he can't do that, because if you are doing a national campaign, if you're running for the highest office, if you're the vice president, can't be fucking coming across like a weird breeding fetishist, right? Like, that kind of stuff might play well in a hyper niche environment where you're surrounded by all of these other fucking freaks, right? But that shit is not going to fly in a national campaign, just because, like, this is a massively consequential. I feel like a certain community has trigger phrases they send to you, which they deem successful in getting your attention. Maybe. But it doesn't really matter. We ban them anyway. Like, if you're the type of person who in a conversation where I'm like directly talking about the different standards set for people and how like it's, not acceptable to use the R word as a prominent person on a national stage when you're running for fucking office, if your hyper focus is like me contextually using it, then, you're not a serious person at all. It doesn't matter. Anyway, please tell me they don't actually say broodmares. No, but they liken it to the same situation. It's like calling your girl a bitch around your friends, but when some random says it, it becomes completely inappropriate. Yeah, it's like, when Cutie Cinderella and myself and Will, we'll be talking shit to one another on the podcast, right? Like, we're obviously friends with one another. Like, when Will will be like, you wet bitch to Cutie, or when I say that, it's like entirely different than like someone who does not know Cutie Cinderella calling her a bitch. That is the most unacceptable thing you can do. Contextually appropriate scenarios, contextually inappropriate scenarios, while still, being edgy. But yes,
Selena Wang is covering Vice President Harris and joins us from Milwaukee. Selena, good morning.
Good morning, Whit. Vice President Harris and Donald Trump are fighting for that sliver of undecided voters in Wisconsin, both of them holding rallies here in Milwaukee last night. The vice president calling for unity and condemning Trump's violent language.
Are we ready to win? Are we ready to vote?
Overnight, Vice President Kamala Harris making an all-out push in battleground Wisconsin.
If you give me the chance to fight on your behalf, there is nothing that will stand in my way as I fight for you.
Leaning on superstar Cardi B and celebrity rappers to get out the vote.
If his definition of protection is
I love Glorilla and Cardi B too.
making sure our daughters have fewer rights than our mothers, then I don't want it!
Harris making her pitch for unity.
It is my pledge to always put country above party and self, and to be a president for all Americans.
We're gonna get to Trump in a second. Connor East Pants literally fucking texted me the Trump deep throat thing while I was doing the podcast. He's like, you have to see this. And I'm gonna get to that. He's lost his sauce. He's losing his fucking mind a little bit. We're gonna take a look.
That is my pledge to you, Wisconsin.
The vice president firing up young voters.
You are determined to live free from gun violence, to take on the climate crisis. And I see you, and I see your power.
And while speaking to union workers, Harris pledging to lower the cost of living.
And at the top of my list is bringing down your cost of living. And it will be my focus every single day as president. I will always put the middle class first. I come from the middle class, and I never forget where I come from.
Vice President condemning Donald Trump after he used violent rhetoric against former Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney, one of Trump's most outspoken critics.
She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face.
Harris reacting with harsh criticism.
This must be disqualifying. Anyone who wants to be president of the United States who uses that kind of violent rhetoric is clearly disqualified and unqualified to be president.
But Trump defending his rhetoric.
Oh, yeah, sure. She's a war hawk.
Yeah, so the chicken hawk stuff is silly. It's like liberal shit. Like he very clearly was. I mean, he was invoking the firing squad analogy, certainly, when said like 9 barrels pointed at her. But like he absolutely was doing the classic chicken hawk shit. For those of you who don't know, maybe you're not old enough to remember, but back when people were actually anti-war in the Democratic Party, we used to say this about the Cheneys in general. We used to say this about George W. Bush. We used to say this about all politicians. This was a common trope in the anti-war movement in the Vietnam era. This is what Fortunate Son is literally about. Okay? When you hear that CCR song is directly about how rich people don't go to war, senators don't go to war, senators' children don't go into war. It's the poor people that are drafted to go die in a war. Okay? That is the whole point. Someone reported Trump to the FBI for that statement. Yeah. It's funny because like obviously Elon Musk has said like incredibly violent shit, like way more violent shit than that. Trump has said way more directly violent things than that, made more violent promises, right? In terms of like sicking the military on his enemies, the enemy from within. These are actually violent statements. Him saying that like, give a gun to Liz Cheney and have her sit in front of 9 barrels and let's see how she likes it is just him basically invoking the age-old adage that these people would have a very different attitude if their lives were actually on the line. They would not be advocating to go to these wars in the same way that they do now because they know that they will never suffer the worst consequences. That's all it is. And I don't like it because like it gives more motion and more momentum to Donald Trump to portray himself as like someone who is constantly clipped out of context in an area where he is now in the last moment where all eyes are on both of these campaigns. In the last moment, he can present himself as anti-war now. Why are you downplaying this? I'm not. I'm offering you actual context to his statements. He has said infinitely more violent shit. This does not meet that standard. And not only that, but also consistently hyper-focusing on this statement as though this is the most violent thing that he has actually said, unironically allows him to look at the entire fucking field of play and say, see, I'm anti-war. I said she wouldn't want to go. If she had to go to war, she'd have a very different attitude. And the media is lying because the media loves war. They're in the tank for Kamala Harris, who also loves war. Okay? Can't believe we're going to click on this, but Glenn Greenwald is not wrong. I can't believe I'm saying this. It's staggering to watch, especially since I was part of the group who was saying this. Now to watch these people turn around and faint with horror when Trump says the exact same thing as suffocating the stench of their shameless dishonesty could choke an elephant to death. Democrats spent 25 years saying that Dick Cheney's kids should have to go fight in a war, and all it took was Donald Trump agreeing with him, with them to change their minds. I cannot believe like under no circumstances do you have to hand it to fucking Glenn Greenwald, but in this situation, it is dangerously allowing an opportunity for Donald Trump to turn around and present himself as anti-war again and again and again. Every single time this kind of shit plays in mainstream media, Fox News and all the fucking right-wing commentators can turn around and disingenuously present themselves as anti-war, as Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are so pro-war. They're so, they're so pro-endless wars. The reality of the matter is Trump is also pro-endless wars. There is a uniparty approach to war, okay? But if one party is not saying anything, about the endless wars, or maybe even, dare I say, defending the concept of endless wars, and the other party, on the other hand, is at least presenting themselves as anti-war, this gives them an opportunity, this gives them an advantage over the other party, because Americans broadly consider themselves to be anti-war, okay? While both parties are pro-war and pro-genocide, the obviously pro-war and pro-genocide party, which is the Republican Party as well, at least historically, is now, at the very least, trying to present themselves as people that want to end the wars. And they do it in a way that is, I think, great for the hogs to comprehend. Peace through strength. Okay? They present strength and they say, I'm going to be dominant. I'm going to be crazy. I'm going to fucking, light the oil refineries on fire or whatever, the Iranian nuclear facilities on fire, in an effort to stop them. Now, we who understand what that means, who understand the track record of the Republican Party, look at that and go, oh my God, that is an escalation. But most dummies look at that and go, well, Trump, no new wars under his administration is the way they analyze the situation. They don't think about the Abraham Accords. They don't think about the Iran denuclearization agreement. And the Democrats have not communicated that there is a difference there between them and the Republican Party. This allows them to basically fucking run the table on this shit. I understand the whole peaceful dove stuff, but is he really doing effective messaging in that regard? He hasn't so far because he's flubbed it too many times. Having said that, however, this is when people are tuning in. This is when people are paying the most attention. You don't want this to be in the media cycle. You don't want this like, oh, Democrats are saying like he wanted to fucking line up Liz Cheney and kill her. And then you're in defense of Liz Cheney while Donald Trump has 30 points on you on Israel, Palestine. You don't want that. Okay? You do not want that. That is a terrible place to be in. This is what happened in 2016. This is how Donald Trump was able to successfully make himself seem like a moderate and an anti-war peaceful dove candidate against Hillary Clinton. Okay? This is how you get a lot of people who are, who fancy themselves to be anti-war to like falsely believe that the side that is at least communicating an anti-war message, they falsely start believing the side that's at least communicating an anti-war message into being actually anti-war when they are not anti-war. Make no mistake. It is a very frustrating thing to watch unfold. And I don't know how many times I have to explain how dangerous this is. So if reps lie, why can't Kamala at least lie? Well, you have just arrived at my, what I've been saying, non-fucking stop. Goes to Milwaukee to insult Giannis. If he goes to Pennsylvania and says Joe Flacco was better than Ben Roethlisberger, and then goes to North Carolina and does a rally with Coach K, I'm going to assume he's trying to throw this thing.
Your team is very good. I would say the Greek is a seriously good player. Do you agree? And tell me, who has more Greek in him, the Greek or me? I think we have about the same, right?
Oh my God. That's insane. Bro, that's a major fucking point of contention, dude. That is imaginably racist, dude. Oh my God. The Bucks are ass is the worst part. Brother, it doesn't matter. Bro, I don't get it. Giannis is calling him the Greek and not the Greek freak is also funny. Yeah. So, okay. Giannis, okay. I'm going to fuck up his last name. Giannis Antetokounmpo, say it correctly, also known as the Greek freak, okay, is a Milwaukee Bucks power forward, okay? And he is the son of immigrants from Nigeria, okay? And his father was a soccer player. His mother was a high jumper in Nigeria. 3 years earlier, they had moved from Lagos, leaving their firstborn son, Francis, under the care of his grandparents. Antetokounmpo grew up in the Athens neighborhood of Sepolia in a primarily Nigerian household. His parents, as immigrants, worked without permits, could not easily find work. So Giannis and his older brother, Thanasis, helped by hawking watches, handbags, and sunglasses in the streets. In 2007, Antetokounmpo started playing basketball. Antetokounmpo. Okay, Greek freak. So he has an incredible story of perseverance through tremendous hardships. But the fact that he is like saying, "Thank God I was warned that you cover political and sensitive subjects." Yeah, you got it. Don't worry. So you have been saying it correctly. Okay, thank you. So the fact that like he is questioning his like Greek background, that is like been a point of controversy because he didn't even immediately gain his fucking Greek citizenship. Look, they were born in Greece. They did not automatically receive a Greek citizenship as Greek nationality law follows jus sanguinis. Growing up, he sometimes felt like an outsider to both the Greek and Nigerian communities in Athens due to his parents' heritage and different skin color in the former, and due to the lack of understanding of the Yoruba or Igbo languages in the latter. For the first 18 years of his life, Antetokounmpo could not travel outside the country and was effectively stateless, having no papers from Greece or Nigeria. He was eventually issued Greek citizenship on May 9th, 2013, less than 2 months before the NBA draft. After gaining Greek citizenship, his official surname became the Greek transcription of Antetokounmpo, which was then transliterated letter for letter and officially spelled in his Greek passport as Antetokounmpo. Giannis is a modern Greek variant of Giannis John. Because many NBA fans could not pronounce his name, he quickly became known as the Greek Freak. He also now holds a Nigerian citizenship, having received his Nigerian passport in 2015, and such possesses dual citizenship. He has stated that he feels both Greek and Nigerian, and that he embraces his both Greek and as well as African Nigerian identity. So do not bring up the fact that he is not a Turkish freak. I know his parents should have come to Turkey. They would have immediately gotten citizenship, and he wouldn't have had to ball super hard to be able to achieve that status, okay? I don't want to get into it. It's a major L for the Turkish government. The Turkish government should offer a welcoming hand to every migrant, okay? I think that they were literally in Turkey, and they were I don't know if that's like a fucking fake Greek lie made up, or if they actually were driven out of Turkey. Don't be sad, bro. You got Enes Kanter. Yeah, he sucks. He is so fake for this, not because it's subtly racist, but we are ass right now. This is not fair to Giannis, as we have Pat Connaughton playing terrorist basketball and Doc Rivers. They were actually drove out of Turkey before he was born. That seems like it's Greek propaganda. I'm just going to say it. But point is, Trump claiming that he is just as Greek as Giannis is just a not so subtle white supremacist dog whistle. Do you understand? Like, he just straight up talking about a dude who has had tremendous hardships specifically because he was considered literally stateless in Greece, okay, for most of his fucking life, to say that he is not real, he's not a true Greek, and that like, oh, I might be just as Greek as he is, that is incredibly fucking racist. Yeah, thank God we have Şengün. Alperen Şengün, my goat. So, yeah, it is a truly, truly racist remark to question the to question the nationality status of a Nigerian immigrant because they are black and because they're Nigerian. Like, you would never say that about a white person from the Balkans that moved to Greece or some shit. That would not happen. No one would ever point to that. Okay? Absolutely not. And it's exactly the same kind of racist sentiment that that is the underpinning of his white nativist anti-immigrant policies anyway. So it's shocking that he would say that. It's not shocking that people in that audience would laugh at that, but it is interesting to think that would be appropriate to say in fucking Milwaukee of all places.
In these final days, Vice President Harris is stressing that Donald Trump's language is becoming more extreme. And we're learning new details about Harris's plans the day before the election. Her campaign is planning to hold rallies in all 7 battlegrounds, tying them together in a national live stream. Gio?
All right, Selena, thank you so much.
No, right where that young lady is, John is sitting there. And I called him, I said, could you come back? And he comes backstage. Thank you very much.
Here's the dick sucking moment. My asexual, biromantic, autistic queen. He's just queening, okay? He's doing the damn thing. I need you to understand, okay? A lot of you do not understand the autistic, aromantic, bisexual swag that Donald Trump has. He is stimming here, okay? You're going to watch a man stim, and I don't want you to be fucking ableist, all right? I got to pee.
Mic. You got to be kidding. Do you want to see me knock the hell out of people backstage? You want to see me? I don't mind if they want to come up a little forward or something, but it's a pretty stupid situation, but that's okay. I get so angry. I'm up here seething. I'm seething. I'm working my ass off with this stupid mic. I'm blowing out my left arm. Now I'm going to blow out my right arm, and I'm blowing out my damn throat, too, because these stupid people. I'll make you a deal. Pretend you're listening to it perfectly, and I'll come back and do another one, okay? With a decent... It's so stupid. And you know, the only thing I ask for, I don't care about lighting. I don't care about teleprompters, because I never read the damn things anyway. By the way, isn't it nice to have a president that doesn't need a frickin' teleprompter? But I don't ask for much. I don't ask for much. The only thing I ask for is a good mic. And this is the second time today that this happened. So now if I were the president, and you know, like a dopey guy like this Kelly, the guy's a total moron, and that happened, I'd fire him, and everybody would say, gee, I'm such a bad person. You're not bad. You fire people. When, for instance, the generals that destroyed us in Afghanistan, every one of them should have been fired. Should have been fired. Hello? Hello? I don't think so. Hello? Is that better? Is that better?
I know what he's going through better than anybody else, dude. There is nothing more annoying than audio issues in front of a fucking crowded arena, okay? This is, I feel like the experience that he's having right now is straight up 1-to-1, like something that I can comprehend better than anybody else, okay?
That's terrible. Is that better back there? Is that yes or no? What crap. The only thing I ask for is a mic. You don't have to give me, I don't even need a stage. I don't give a damn. Give me a good mic. And I went through 2 of these today. And it knocks the hell out of your throat. But so far I'm doing okay, right? Okay. Is that better? Yeah. And did you notice I came in today, I said, and you know, this is after 4 of these things. I mean, in all fairness, I mean, I'm a human being, right? I come in, and here's the problem. I said, oh man, it's too low. I said, it's too low. So I had to go, way too low, way too low. So I walk in, I said, shit, there's nothing worse than I walk in like this, and I'm, did you notice? I was bending over like this, hello. And then everybody says, is there something wrong with this?
Did I miss the gluck gluck? Hold up.
I mean, in all fairness, I mean, I'm a human being, right? I come in, and here's the problem. I said, oh man, it's too low. I said, it's too low. So I had to go.
This is, what is he doing? What the hell is going on, dude? What the hell is going on? What the hell? Sauceless? Has he lost it? Or does the sauce remain?
Way too.
How is this the worst rally? Your assessment went array? No, I hadn't seen it. I only saw clips of it. And I was like, I'm like, I feel like he's losing it a little bit.
Too low. Way too low. So I walk in, I said, shit, there's nothing worse than I walk in like this and I'm, did you notice? I was bending over like this. Hello. And then everybody says, is there something wrong with his back? What the hell is wrong with that guy? They're saying, he's cognitively impaired and physically impaired. There's something wrong with them all because I have guys that are stupid back there. All right, what are you going to do? What are you going to do, right? A shame. But we're going to come back. I'm going to give you a free performance back in that corner. You got a bad area back there. But I think this is better. I think it's probably better.
To the Republican side now with former President Trump, who
there was the end of the rally that I thought was crazy. Also, Faker. Which 3 celebrities do you want to have a meal with? Song Hyo-min, Woo Sung-hyuk, and Mohammed bin Salman Al Saud is that's why he's the president. That's why he's my president. Okay? November surprise, Trump is by. That's not a surprise. Last YouGov/Times poll in battleground states, Arizona, Trump up by 1, Georgia, Trump up by 2, North Carolina, Trump up by 1, Nevada showing Harris +1, Pennsylvania, Harris +2, Michigan, Harris +2, Wisconsin, Harris +3. This is a lock for Harris to win. For the record, like, she just needs this. I mean, she needs this. And if this comes as well alongside it. And that is their pathway to victory. Just want to mention, Trump just called his employees stupid in front of a rally. Luckily, he didn't say garbage. I mean, Trump has called his own supporters garbage. Trump has called the cities that he's attended garbage. Trump has called Democrats garbage. Trump can say whatever he wants, chat. Think about it this way. The dynamic is the exact same. I'm gonna like reduce it to online drama, okay? In the field of online commentary, if you're presenting yourself as a right-winger or even a bad guy, okay, nobody's expectations of you are high. The standard is already set for you. You can get away with doing whatever the fuck you want. You can do bad guy shit all day, every day. And not only can you do bad guy shit all day, every day, you can then turn around and point to someone like myself and say, that is actually a real bad guy because he's hypocritical. Okay? Because the standards, if you are at least on the progressive side, ostensibly, okay, the standards are unimaginably high. And it's oftentimes not even a standard set by yourself. People can just like make up whatever standard you should have and then call you hypocritical for not abiding by the fake standard that they set for you. Okay? That's it. People who are apolitical or right-wing can get away with you being like, I'm a sociopath. I'm a bad person. I don't give a fuck about anything. I'm selfish. I'm only interested in myself. And people will go, hell yeah, brother. He's just like me. He's being honest. He's being real. He's being a real one right now. Okay? And then they can also turn around and go, that guy is faking being a good guy. He is actually a piece of shit. And people go, yeah, you're right. He tells it like it is. That guy does suck. That's the reality in the political stage as well. Donald Trump is a bad guy, and he has successfully set his own standards for himself. He can say whatever the fuck he wants, and the media just basically goes along with that. What are you going to do? That's just Trump. You know? That's just Trump. And I think, yes, I know Van had a really good take on this. It is also obviously white supremacy as well. Like white mediocrity plays a role in this as well, certainly. But I think it's beyond that because Bernie Sanders is a white guy. Think about the imaginable standards placed upon Bernard Sanders. Why? Because he's a socialist, right? He's an old socialist guy. So they were like, oh, I can't believe you have 3 houses, Bernie, you fake ass, you phony. It's like his retirement fund is marginal in comparison to like the average accountant. Okay. And people are losing their minds over it. As a matter of fact, even leftists do the same thing. Okay. Even leftists do it to other leftists. Think about it. Immediately, someone was like, he's a Zionist. In terms of in terms of like Bernie Sanders' advocacy against Israel, he has literally gone above and beyond for the 800 years that he's been in Congress in terms of like trying to put enforcements on the weapons transfers to Israel before half of these motherfuckers that are, you know, angry at him. And I myself am critical of his position as well, for the record. But like, having said that, I'm also more understanding of you know, where he's at, okay, or where he's coming from. It's kind of crazy to just be like, he fucking sucks, when you're thinking about a guy who was literally saying things that were completely considered unacceptable about Israel before you even developed consciousness, okay? Like, before you knew what Israel even fucking was. So we do this. We also do this to ourselves. We think it's self-crit. We think it's, you know, it's just a tendency that people have, you know? Yeah, Bernie brought up Gaza in the 2020 primary debates. Unheard of. Bernie literally also straightforwardly said, I want to stop weapons transfers to Israel. I want to do conditional aid to Israel in 2016 and 2020. Think about that. And that's how it is. Some of these white leftists think they're a third world Maoist in the way they speak instead of actually doing proper analysis of the imperial core law. Exactly. So you watching the Ringer podcast makes me so happy. You helping pay my salary. What? Ringer podcast takes? This is what you're talking about. Oh, okay. So my point is, for a lot of people, okay, we don't have the same level of standards for our allies, even as leftists ourselves or as progressives ourselves. We hold people closest to us ideologically to an infinitely higher standard. And the right also uses that all the goddamn time. They create false standards upon people. Wait, hold on. Or abide by the insane standards that the right places upon those who are ostensibly considered progressive. Okay? Anyway, let's take a look at what Van said.
We've never seen anyone treated with the singular amount of white privilege that Donald Trump is being treated with. This is a masterclass in white privilege. Trump can't say enough to be racist.
Correct.
He can't commit enough crimes to be a criminal. He can't fail enough to be a failure. And he can't say enough stupid things to be stupid. He is so shielded and insulated by the idea and the concept of whiteness that he is unfucking touchable.
Yeah.
100%.
The thought conjured around him matters more than any reality.
I think it's definitely whiteness. It's definitely whiteness. But beyond that, it's also being a Republican. Okay? I think that is the case. I think just simply saying it's whiteness is it makes up the broad majority of the mediocrity or the overt failure that is just like, you know, that bounces off of him, right? Like it's nothing. But I think it's him being rich also plays a role in this as well. Like his class position also plays a role in this as well. But I think the fact that he is a right winger, he is a Republican, truly helps him more than anything else. Okay? The standards placed upon the right are basically non-existent. Roy Moore in Alabama was a straight up pedophile. Okay? Straight up. And he almost won the Senate race. Like, think about that. There is no world. Don't minimize race. I'm not. Please stop. Oh, God. I love that half of the meta conversation here is about like how we on the left have a tendency to like think that we're doing hypercritical analysis while we're just simultaneously misunderstanding each other and placing like ridiculous markers. We're placing like ridiculous standards upon other people who we are directly ideologically aligned with. You're a 20-month subscriber. You probably agree with like 99.9%. Okay. It's the white male grievance, though. Just simply saying it's the white male grievance is not enough. There is a political dynamic at play here beyond whiteness. if that was the fucking point, then like Biden has been an abject failure as well. Whiteness plays a role in him not being seen in the same fucking lens as a black woman like Kamala Harris. Okay? That part is absolutely correct. But beyond that, there is still an insane amount of standard placed upon even white men that are on the Democratic Party side, especially someone like Bernie Sanders. That's why I use the example of Bernie Sanders. Okay? Bernie Sanders is a white man. And while many on the rad lib side were considering him to be, a misogynist, a Bernie bro, the Bernie bros are coming, whatever the fuck. But like the reason why people would make commentary over how many fucking homes he owns, okay, was unheard of for anybody else. Like, think about that. Think about the standard set for someone like that. Why? Because he was advocating for fucking progressive causes. Aren't you experiencing it right now too? Exactly.
Any reality. He is a Christian that doesn't know the Bible, that fucks porn stars, that is
grabs
mean,
women by the pussy,
grabs women by the pussy, is the least Christ-like. But the sheer promise of the whiteness that exists inside of Donald Trump is enough for everyone, white and black people, a lot of them who worship whiteness and aspire to the level of whiteness that Trump has. It's enough for them to say, hey, he's still our guy, no matter what.
It's the whiteness he guarantees to protect. That's what he represents, right? It's their being that he guarantees to protect. And that's true. That's something that they won't say, but that they're voting for.
So, yeah, whiteness plays a major role in this. And beyond whiteness playing a major role in this, being a Republican plays a major role in this as well.
So I'm not gonna...
Republicans get away with fucking murder, okay? In terms of commentary, reactionaries get away with so many falsehoods that they spread. Trump is doubly insulated, triply insulated. He's rich, he's white, and he's a Republican. It is the trifecta, okay? Impossible to combat. He can do whatever the fuck he wants, and so many people will just go, that's him. What are you going to do? Yeah, I mean, being a man, he's a white man who is rich, okay? He is a white man who is rich and a Republican. It's just not like, it's so OP in terms of the way people view you. Like, they don't give a fuck. His statement about how he could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and his supporters would not even care about it is 100% correct. Anyway, let's see what Jamel Bowie had to say.
Post a headline because I'm too lazy to do the screenshot, but there's this piece in The Atlantic by Tim Alberta about kind of the last days of the Trump campaign, basically. And there's some really interesting stuff in there, including the fact that the guy responsible, more or less directly, for the comedian saying the racist thing about Puerto Ricans at the Madison Square Garden rally, the guy responsible for that is a J.D. Vance staffer, a guy brought onto the campaign by J.D. Vance. And he's like some weird, incel type who loves this comedian, and so got him onto the stage without being vetted by anyone. Which tells you the level of, I guess, organization in the campaign. But it's also a reminder that Vance really might be, especially if they lose, the single worst vice presidential pick.
Is it intended for certain audiences? Disclaimer new, or has it been on your stream? Yeah, they did content warnings for sensitive political discussions. So it's like automatically on, or it automatically triggers when I start talking about politics, or I can manually set it, but I believe it's already set. So I didn't manually set it today.
Of the modern era. It's not just that he is personally off-putting and deeply unlikable, but that he is so plugged in to like the incel sphere. That's like his whole world.
Yeah, they're hyper online, man. It's not a good standard for a national campaign. It's just not good. And I keep repeating this over and over again. I think this kind of stuff is gross to like normal voters. And that is part of the reason why I think that what the fuck is this, dude? This doesn't even make sense, chat. Y'all are so dumb for this.
Now, everyone around them is from that world that they have no idea how to sound normal anymore or how normal people react to that stuff. And they really saturated the Trump campaign with all of this nonsense. And as we see,
like, Trump forgot what made him successful. Okay, what made him successful in 2016 was presenting himself as a moderate, an anti-war candidate, someone who didn't care about like the gay shit, you know, pro LGBTQ. Like, he was a different kind of Republican. He represented a change. He was the anti-establishment. He was going to shake things up. Now, 4 years later of his presidency, he didn't fucking do that, right? But it didn't matter at that point. Then people were like more comfortable with him on the Republican side as a guy who, you know, they voted for. He pushed for their causes. He triggered the libs, all that stuff. And it also basically gave them a sense of comfort and security that, like, he wouldn't be this fucking dictator freakazoid that the left had presented himself as. Then January 6th happened. Okay? So the reason why I'm saying that in 2020, that he lost, but he got like massive fucking wave of support in that process due to COVID, due to universal mail-in ballots and many of these other reasons, he still got a shit ton of support. His support only grew, okay? But then January 6th happened, and I think that shook a lot of Republicans to the core, like a lot of the normal Republicans to the core, and his antics never changed as far as like constantly complaining about how he didn't actually lose. Like, he came across as a fucking spoiled, sore loser, right? And that is why you saw the high propensity voters, the whites in the suburbs, go by pretty fucking spectacular margins to the Democratic Party in 2022, which created basically like almost a firewall that really chipped away at this massive red wave that was supposed to happen. 2 years after that, we are now watching this race unfold, and Donald Trump has no way of communicating like moderate positions. He actually could. He had a fantastic opportunity when he got shot. You know, I thought if he does like the unity route, it's over, especially against Joe Biden. It's so over. And if Joe Biden had maintained his, if he was still in the race, this would be a over race regardless. He would have fucking won by massive, massive margins. But he didn't do that. He didn't like turn around and try to talk about unity or try to moderate his perspective. If anything, he doubled down on like some of the worst parts of his messaging and consistently dialed in on fucking immigrants when he should be talking about what he's going to do for the economy. In times when he talks about the economy, he's talking about tariffs. Okay. The Harris campaign very quickly packed that up by saying tariffs. You mean a fucking universal sales tax for the working class Americans, for the working poor? You want to tax the poor? What the fuck's wrong with you? So in his strongest aspect, the economy, something that is the most consequential part of this story, Donald Trump is fumbling the fucking bag because he has no good solutions as to how he's going to fix the economy. Okay? And besides that, he keeps talking about weird ass shit that nobody cares about. Or even if you do care about it, like immigration, maybe you think that like 12 million Guatemalans are raping your daughter or some shit, even though you live in a fucking 40-person town in an exurb in fucking Michigan, right? Even if you're in that situation, there is definitely a level to how much Trump talks about that, okay? And that's part of the reason why Kamala has made up a lot of the distance that she had from Donald Trump in terms of how the majority population views Trump's policies on the economy versus Kamala Harris's policies on the economy. Trump has been beating, as Republicans have historically beaten the Democrats on the economy front. Kamala Harris is still caught up to Trump on that front, despite the fact that she has run an objectively dogshit campaign. And that is all because Donald Trump is doing a bad job. Okay? And this is the underlying problem because he is hyper online. The people in his orbit are hyper online. He's using Donald Trump Jr., a fucking douchebag who doesn't know anything, to make decisions, like pivotal decisions, like, you know, getting JD Vance to be on the ticket. He's got Elon Musk on his side. Okay? This kind of stuff is throwing. You're just basically throwing the election. Okay? That's what you're doing. You are throwing. And these are the reasons why I still think Kamala Harris is going to most likely win the election. If you were to ask me a couple months prior, I would have said, and I did say, that Kamala Harris is very likely going to win the election. It has gotten significantly harder for her to win due to her own version of the throwing. Bad policies, bad campaigning, not separating herself from Joe Biden. But Donald Trump is sauceless.
With the Madison Square Garden incident, it's really come back to bite the Trump campaign in the ass. Backed by popular demand, Angelica, we're on our afternoon constitutional, and she is having a great time. Having a good old time. Oh, gonna try to eat that bug. Got away from you.
Kamala bought you? Yeah, totally. Notice how I was talking about how objectively dogshit the Kamala Harris's campaign was? That's what they're paying for. They're paying me so I can keep consistently saying their campaigning strategies have been bad. It's a risky gamble to assume that you are not going to hemorrhage your base of support. That's how it works. They have they're pay pigs. The Harris camp are pay pigs. That's why they are doing this. They're giving me money so I can shit on them. They're just that dumb, dude. I think we're all missing the forest for the trees here. Yes, Trump is making terrible moves. Yes, Kamala has maybe ran the worst campaign she could have, but we're all forgetting that Donald Trump possibly has the quite hardest banger all time written by Los Tri de Habana. Thoughts? Yeah, I mean, that was a 2020 banger and he still lost. So that's my only thing. You're not wrong. It is a fucking banger, objectively. I'm not even joking. People in Pittsburgh are acting like the Civil War is going to kick off when both candidates are here on Monday. I think that there is a real chance for unrest. I do not know what it will look like. I assume that it will be an organized Brooks Brothers riot in each individual state where they try to stop like votes from being counted or some shit. I hope that considering that this is a Democratic administration, they will be geared up and ready to go against that sort of thing. But if there is a red mirage from same day voters and what happened in the last election cycle happens again, and Trump is I mean, dude, we are in such a weird situation, dude. We're in such a fucking weird situation because like people don't trust the media. The trust in media, confidence in media is at an all-time low. The media is so segmented, so diverse. People don't fucking like, nobody goes on ABC, right? Like people, if you're a Republican, you're not going on ABC, you're going on Fox News. And the problem is like, will Fox News, like they did in 2020, abide by a higher duty to present the truth in a time when people are going fucking crazy mode? Or will they lean into the fucking madness? Because if Fox News doesn't do what it did in 2020 and like doesn't use like accurate projections to call out like a potential winner in a state, and ABC and CBS and NBC and CNN does, it's going to be fucking bedlam. Where the fuck? That's what I foresee. And, Trump's strategy is just like paperwork to stop fucking, ballots from being processed and yada, yada, yada. We'll see what happens.
Who was also in Milwaukee last night and heads to North Carolina today. It's the fourth day in a row that both candidates are in the same state. ABC's Mary Alice Parks is live in Gastonia, North Carolina. Good morning, Mary Alice.
Yeah, Gio, good morning. Former President Trump was in the same arena in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where Republicans held their national convention. He talked about immigration and the economy. He said that he was the only candidate who could rescue the economy from, quote, total obliteration. And he was introduced by one of his supporters, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. With just 3 days to go, Donald Trump back in the very same
election. They have among the worst numbers.
The report came amid hurricanes and a new Boeing strike. It showed wages continuing to climb, and the stock market did end the week higher. But Trump predicted economic doom.
Do you want to lose your job and maybe your house and pension because Kamala has the economic understanding of a child?
Trump joined on stage in Wisconsin and earlier in the day in Michigan by former independent candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who dropped out of the race and endorsed him, but whose name will still be on the Michigan ballot.
If you want to see me go to Washington, you better vote for Donald Trump.
Kennedy, a well-known vaccine
Oh my
skeptic,
God,
says he's
terrifying.
been promised a prominent role in any future Trump administration, running healthcare agencies.
Fucking
Trump seeming to
terrifying.
confirm as much.
And he's going to take care of women's health and men's health and your
Terrifying.
children's health.
And asked if he agrees with Kennedy about vaccines.
You're comfortable with his views on vaccines, Mr. President?
We'll be talking about a lot of things, but he's going to have a big role in healthcare, a very big role.
Vice President Kamala Harris today calling out Trump over possibly putting Kennedy in charge of America's healthcare system.
He has indicated that the person who would be in charge of health care for the American people is someone who has routinely promoted junk science and crazy conspiracy theories, who once expressed support for a national abortion ban.
Now, former President Trump heads here to North Carolina today. It's the one battleground state that he won 4 years ago, but he's taking nothing for granted. He has 3 events scheduled this weekend alone here. Democrats say it could be a sign he's nervous about the state. Janae?
All right. We will see what happens in the next few days. Mary Alice, thank you.
Time to prioritize our nation's best interests and foster lasting peace for all. This current administration has failed miserably in all aspects of humanity. We look to a Trump presidency with hope, envisioning a time where peace flourishes, particularly in Lebanon and Palestine, maintaining the integrity of our borders.
Donald Trump meeting with Arab American voters in Dearborn, Michigan, who are now throwing their support behind him.
This comes as the candidates remain neck and neck in that all-important battleground state.
You just heard from our next guest.
Why don't they say RFK Jr. is anti-Semitic despite the fact that he said that COVID was a conspiracy created by Ashkenazi Jews and the Chinese? Because he's unimaginably pro-Israel. There is your fucking answer. The media, well, not the media, but like a lot of people who are in right-wing circles especially would consider me to be anti-Semitic before RFK Jr. I'm not anti-Semitic. I am, however, anti-Israel. Therefore, I'm the biggest anti-Semite. RFK Jr., anti-Semitic, pro-Israel, not an anti-Semite. It's that simple.
Yes, Michigan resident Albert Abbas, and he joins us now. Albert, it's so great to have you on. I was just telling my co-host here, I'm obsessed with this story. Donald Trump's going to end with a rally in Michigan. I think that Arab Americans might be the swing demo inside of Michigan that could put it in Trump's corner. Explain to us why Donald Trump is appealing to, why Arab Americans are attracted to Donald Trump at this moment.
Arab Americans are flowing in the direction of the Trump campaign because of his, words of tolerance and love and ending wars. I mean, all our families are suffering overseas in Gaza and in Lebanon. And we have to stop the, indiscriminate bombings that are happening and allow justice for everyone and allow everyone to live with dignity. And, diplomacy is the way for peace. We can't expect that dropping bombs is going to create peace. We have to, open the gates so that we can have conversations, with people that we agree with and people that we don't agree with. And that's the most important thing. And he's extended an olive branch to the Arab community. He's made it a priority to come here. And he's said some very powerful words to gain that support. And now we're going to be looking for some actions and to hold everyone accountable. But we do believe that Donald Trump is our best option and a good option, if that.
Albert, I'm curious what this shift represents. So I'm going to ask you 2 questions. Is this going to be the first time then that you have voted for a Republican? Have you been a supporter of Democrats in the past? And that's one question real quick, Albert. And then the other is, in your estimation, in your community, are there a lot of people who are following your lead and now going over to Donald Trump?
Oh, yeah, there's definitely a seismic shift in favor of Donald Trump here in Dearborn. And across Michigan in general. And I do believe Michigan is going to be the deciding factor in this election, and people are starting to wake up. It is not my first time voting for a Republican, and it's not, probably my last time voting for a Democrat. if they continue to, go on this path. Our as Dearborn voters, we want to be heard. So the person that wants to listen to us and wants to reciprocate, the love and tolerance, then we are going to shift towards that candidate. And today that candidate is Donald Trump. He's made some great gains over here in Michigan. I actually have a picture right here of my.
In terms of this guy and the Muslim or Arab votes swinging in this direction to be consequential enough for Kamala Harris to lose Michigan, they are like the Democratic Party has actively written out. One, the Democratic Party has considered the Israel-Palestine issue to be like an Arab one, a sectarian one, an ethnic one, a religious one. This is not the case. Like broad majorities of every party, including the Republican Party, want a ceasefire in Gaza. They want an end to the weapons transfers. It's not just the Arab thing. Now, in terms of like this being a single issue thing that could swing someone's opinion, I still don't think it's just the Arab thing. But besides that, the Democratic Party has openly fucking pushed aside Arab voters, Muslim voters, Christian Arabs, Lebanese voters, and the like. They've openly communicated that they don't want them to be a part of the active coalition. The issue is, or at least like what this guy is saying, the reason why it doesn't really matter is that Michigan is so fucking blue overall and has a long track record of being blue overall, despite the fact that in 2016, Hillary Clinton lost. Michigan has relapsed in a, dare I say, blue wave. And part of the gains that they've made in Michigan, in terms of like the blue waves, comes from the suburbs, and I think they've picked up a lot of white suburbs people on top of like the white working class in general. Big inroads with the UAW that they are making up in their minds. They are certainly making up for all of the Arab or Muslim or Lebanese votes that they might lose for this single issue. That's it. That's why you're seeing polls reflect a different reality than what this guy is claiming. Yeah. The narrative that Muslim Americans are defecting to Trump is largely a canard, pandering to dumb horseshoe theory stuff, when the risk has always been third party / non-voting, inevitable since the Harris campaign has made clear they don't want them anywhere near their coalition. Yeah. Here's the last CARE national poll among Muslim voters showing 10 points for Trump, 41 for Harris, 42 for Stein. Any idea why this poll is so different from this one? This guy's showing Arab voters with Muslim voters. I know that there's still a large overlap, so it's quite weird that the support for Trump is so different between the polls.
Father with Ronald Reagan. I don't know if you can see it, but this was back in the 80s when he had good relationships with Ronald Reagan and the Speaker of the House of Lebanon, and he helped bring back the American hostages at the time. And now our goal is to make sure that, we end the wars everywhere. And we're asking Donald Trump not only to, demand an end to the war, but to demand it the day that he steps in office. No more killing, no more bombing, just peace around the world and love and tolerance.
Albert, just one quick question. Massad Boulos, who is Tiffany Trump's father-in-law, he is a Lebanese, of Lebanese descent. How much, I've heard that he was, for the last year, working the Dearborn area, working Michigan. How much has that been of an impact on the community and their vote, or their leaning towards Donald Trump?
It definitely doesn't hurt to have such an outstanding gentleman in Mr. Trump's family. It gives us a vote of confidence that, our voices will be heard. It's good that, his family has the diversity that the Democrats always speak of, but they don't really tolerate when we want to speak out. Mr. Boulos has been an outstanding person, has supported us, has, provided us with the lines of communication within the Republican Party, and has allowed us access to develop these relationships and build these bridges with the Republican Party, who has quite frankly been absent from, Dearborn and Michigan in general.
Yeah, no shit. This guy's a shill, brother. What are you talking about? He literally said he's voted for Republicans in the past. Ain't nobody's fucking putting themselves out there to be like, I'm pro-Trump and go to a fucking Trump rally, dude. Are you kidding me? They could hate Kamala Harris. They could want to make a deal with the fucking devil. It doesn't matter. There's a difference between someone who is like very angry and saying that they don't want to vote for Kamala Harris versus someone who's like, I'm voting for Donald Trump because I think that he's going to deliver peace in the Middle East. Yeah, come on. Like, he's on Fox News, dude. What are you talking about? Like, what? Are we stupid? I mean, yes, the answer is yes. I always ask that question. The answer is always yes. It's like the Republican Party's war on terror has now been completely reframed into the Democratic Party's war on terror, which is crazy because the Democrats let that happen. Like, they did it. They championed it. They're so fucking stupid for this. Here's the thing. I take this with a huge grain of salt, but this is probably the type of story that's helping the Trump campaign. Yeah. No, this isn't. Guys, I talk to people in Gaza, okay? And even some of the people that I talk to in Gaza are like, well, neither party really matters, but we were getting killed less when Donald Trump was president, okay? People have a very different analysis in this situation. That doesn't mean that they're correct. They obviously are not. They're wrong. But what am I going to do? Fucking dunk on a dude that is experiencing genocide? I'm just trying to explain to you how some people calculate this or how some people make this calculation. The point is, Donald Trump is most likely going to be even worse than like the worst possible thing you could do, which is genocide. But right now it's the Democrats that are doing it. So people are so lost and so desperate that some of them are like, yeah, maybe this is the right move. Who knows? I'll take a fucking swing at it. A sound party would have never allowed this to happen. A reasonable party would never allow this to happen. The Democrats are unreasonable and they have let it happen. It's so fucking stupid. I don't think that like this is going to be as impactful. I don't think that people care enough about Gaza to like, people do care about Gaza, but they don't care enough about Gaza to vote in whichever direction, as I have stated before. So that's the situation. It's just uniparty on that front. And people make their assessment beyond that. Whether they are pro-Palestine or not, they're just like, there's not really much you can do in this situation. Someone needs to clip this when liberals try to blame you if Trump wins, even though you've said this a million times. I mean, people are going to do that regardless, brother. What do you mean? Like, people are fucking stupid. Dude, people are calling me fucking the MAGA of the left. Okay, give me a goddamn break.
For our people so that our voices can be heard. The only thing that we're asking as a population is for us to be respected and heard. Don't take our votes for granted. And, hopefully, we can continue on this ride for peace and prosperity.
Well, we heard you this morning on Fox and Friends. Thanks for being with us, Albert.
Thank you very much. You have a blessed day.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm Steve Ducey. I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our...
President, you've had quite a lot of interruptions during your speeches recently, a lot of pro-Gaza protesters. And, you certainly have spoken about democracy and responding to them. But do you think that you need to say a little bit more about the Mideast conflict or about what you would do to try to satisfy them? And are you concerned at all about how you'll do in college towns and in Michigan in particular with them? President Trump today is going to Dearborn, is going to a Palestinian restaurant. This is the second kind of Arab American restaurant he's gone to. He seems to be really trying to make a play for a group that would traditionally be pretty democratic. Do you think you've done enough to reach these voters?
Well, I'm very proud to have a significant amount of support from the Arab American community, both because of my position about what we need to do in Gaza and in the region to end the war and bring the hostages home, and my commitment to a two-state solution, but also because within that community there are many issues that challenge folks and that they want to hear about, including what we're going to do to make housing affordable, what we're going to do to bring down the cost of groceries, what we're going to do to invest in small businesses. I have a plan for all of those things, and
I don't agree with that. I think for the most part, it's not the same for Jewish voters. Look, I've brought it up time and time again for American Jewish voters who vote 75% around that margin for the Democratic Party. Israel is not top of mind in terms of like what the fuck's going on. Anti-Semitism in America might be, but like Israel is not the first priority. It's the 9th priority out of 10. On the other hand, for a lot of like Arabs, their friends, people in those neighborhoods, people in those communities, Christians, Lebanese people, like people from the Levant living in the United States of America. This is something that they care about. And the reason why they care about it is because their fucking families are being slaughtered. You know what I mean? Like, of course, it's understandable that this is like going to be a prescient, this is going to be a very significant matter that they care about. So this is the one spot she's really lacking in. No, I think she's lacking in a bunch of different spots, but this is the one that is the worst. Like, yeah, but this chatter is correct. Miss M Poops is correct. You're going to let someone going to a fucking Palestinian restaurant be the move that outflanks you on this issue. Like, that's crazy. Optically speaking, dropping the ball this much on this is insane. But yeah, this is not the only issue where she has problems. There are plenty of other issues where she has major problems, both in her middle road, lackluster policy, but also, tacking right, championing Liz Cheney, defending Liz Cheney, all this shit. Like, it's just bad. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. But like, I still do think that Donald Trump and the way that Donald Trump presents himself, reminding people of what a grave threat he represents to like the current order of business, and not in a positive way, like not in a positive shakeup style situation, is going to carry her across the finish line, I think, albeit a marginal victory, when this should be a fucking wipeout for Kamala Harris.
These are the kind of guys you like to smack in the ass. But I'm serious. These are the kind of guys you like to smack in the ass.
Both of the old white men are going for the biromantic ticket. Yeah. Can Stacey Abrams still deliver Georgia? She's like the least popular politician in the state. She's not delivering anything for anyone. It's so funny. The Stacey Abrams like PR team, I need to hire them. I don't know how the fuck people just like look at what she has done so far and still constantly hype her up. I need her PR team so that people will stop yelling at me, because ain't nobody has done this shittily overall in elections and then still maintained like such positive media coverage. It's pretty crazy.
That is something that resonates within that community and with all Americans.
They want to show the administration that what they did, that the policy and the support for Israel is wrong, and are going to make a statement, and that they don't care if it makes Trump the president. What would you tell them?
So there's a real contrast in this race. When you look at who stands for democracy and democratic principles and who does not. Donald Trump is talking about an enemies list. He is talking about using the American military to turn on American citizens. He talks in a way that suggests that there should be retribution and severe consequences just because people disagree with him. My point is very clear. I believe in our democracy. Democracies are complicated in a wonderful way because we like debate. We accept and receive differences of opinion, and we work them out. One of the reasons I am going to have a Republican in my cabinet is because I want different views. I enjoy and benefit from diverse views from different perspectives that allow me then to make the best decisions I can make. That's a big difference between me and Donald Trump. And that's the big difference between someone who truly is a leader and someone who is in it for themselves and wants unchecked power. Okay, thank you all.
Well, we began with a look at what's happening on the campaign trail. Vice President Harris and former President Trump making stops in the South today as they make their closing arguments.
Meanwhile, Democrats and the media, of course, smearing Trump over his comments about Liz Cheney.
And Aisha Hasani, she's joining us now from Gastonia, North Carolina, with more. Aisha?
Hey there, you guys. Good morning to you. A lot of folks already lining up here for the big Trump rally this afternoon, I should say, here in North Carolina, the great state where more than half of the registered voters here have already voted early, either in person or mail-in ballots. The former president getting back into the campaign swing, trying to talk about policy. Economy is the number one issue here, while Democrats and the Harris campaign are trying to hang on to this moment. Watch.
She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face.
Wild from Matt Binder. This isn't my final prediction, but this is what I'm leaning towards. that is, I mean, this is like maxed out. This is maxed out. Georgia, North Carolina, Arizona, and Nevada, that is maxed out. I think that I think that I think she's gonna lose I think she's gonna lose Arizona. He's only missing blue Texas. Yeah. I don't know about Georgia and I don't know about Arizona, but I do think the blue wall will hold. And that's all that needs to happen anyway for her to win. How are people so confident? They're not. This kind of attitude is not reflected in the mainstream at all, for the record. No, most people are fucking terrified. Are you kidding me? Most Democrats are shitting in their fucking pants right now. And that's partially because the media, due to the overconfidence in 2016, is, in my opinion, radically underestimating Kamala Harris's chances, like way more than they ever have underestimated the Democratic Party. People are fucking scared. I think it's also funny because, like, I wonder how much this is going to contribute to the insanity on November, the night of the election.
Warhawks, when they're sitting in Washington in a nice building saying, oh, gee, Will.
Liz Cheney on foreign policy and accusing you of wanting to execute her.
Well, it's a fake news, and they're trying to make something out of it, and it's so biased to start off with. And all I'm saying is she was a nutty warhawk. You know, she wants to go to war with anybody that moves.
This is what your prediction is, Mike? Michael from Pennsylvania's prediction is Nevada, Arizona, done deal. North Carolina, Georgia, done deal. And Michigan also goes to done. I think this is like literally, this is basically the reverse of this. Like, we just looked at the inverse of both of these. Mike from PA has been really spiteful. I think you guys are wrong. I don't think Michael from Pennsylvania is simply operating on doom, okay? I think that we are, like, right in the center. He's marginally to the right, like, in terms of, like, predicting Donald Trump's chances, and I'm marginally to the left in terms of predicting Kamala Harris's chances. Our arguments are exactly the same. Our opinion is exactly the same. With his vibes, looking at the same numbers that we're looking at, his vibes, because it's not just numbers. We're doing numbers and vibes, okay? He's looking at the numbers and he's looking at the vibes. And his vibes, especially as someone who's on the ground in Pennsylvania, I think it's very important, are that a lot of the base of support has hemorrhaged in the suburbs. And that Kamala Harris cannot make up for it with the, or not suburbs, sorry, with the urban areas. And Kamala Harris cannot make up for it with the suburban white vote, because the suburban white vote will still overwhelmingly favor the Republican Party. That's his assessment on the matter. And I think that that is a fair assessment. My assessment is that not enough of the suburban, or not enough of the urban constituency is going to, refuse to go and vote for Kamala Harris. But more importantly than that, I think that there is a tremendous amount of, like, a lot of support that directly robs Republicans from their base of support. I think the turnout is too low among the cities, and rules are up. The suburbs aren't enough. It's my analysis. If I'm wrong, you'll see big turnout in Atlanta, Philly, Las Vegas on election day. Yeah. No, I don't disagree with you. This is coming from the same place. You lose the urban turnout. And if you lose enough of your urban turnout from your base, black people, brown people, young people in general, like, when you hemorrhage that because you're shitty on Gaza, you haven't really adequately presented solutions to the problems that they're foreseeing. And you just kind of write them off because you're desperately trying to shake the tree for as many fucking white suburban moms, wine moms, as you possibly can gain in Arizona, where it's not going to fucking happen. This is directly, like, this will directly contribute to Kamala Harris's loss. I, however, do still believe that the gains that she has made up in the suburbs, specifically with white women, is especially paired up with the base not hemorrhaging hard enough, will cause her to win in these states. And I think most of that, you were set up for disappointment come election day. No, because if Donald Trump won, I wouldn't be shocked. Why would I, like, in terms of disappointment, I'm set up for disappointment either way. Kamala Harris wins, I'm still disappointed about the future of this country. Donald Trump wins, I'm devastated and terrified for the future of this country. It's not, but if you think like I am, I'm personally like in the tank for Kamala Harris, or think that Kamala Harris is definitely a lock, like I've never communicated that at all. My guy was Biden, and he's out of the race already. You know what I'm saying? I'm riding with him still, but
lose a lot of people, lose a lot of soldiers, put the nation in trouble. And there's nobody tougher than me when it comes to protecting our nation. But that doesn't mean...
Devastating for who? It's already devastating for many. Who are you most fearful for? Dude, everyone. Donald Trump's going to fuck up every single marginalized group further than the Democrats have let the Republicans fuck them up under their reign. It don't matter. They can do whatever the fuck they want. Brother, they do whatever the fuck they want when Democrats are in charge. You seem kind of obsessed over this whole election thing. Shaking my head. Yeah, bro. Low key. Is it just me, or is Hassan really like obsessed with this election, dude? It's like kind of it's giving hyperfixation, sweetie. I don't really understand it. Didn't know marginalized groups equals everyone. I mean, pretty much everyone except for like a fucking white man, I guess. But like Republican policies hurt white people too. Unless you are literally Donald Trump, you will be in some way, shape, or form harmed by his policies, okay? Unless you are either A, Donald Trump, or someone exactly like Donald Trump, you are going to be harmed by his policies. That's the whole point. That's why I advocate for policies and legislation that seemingly is against my immediate self-interest in terms of like my take-home pay. You know what I mean? In terms of like how much taxes I pay, in terms of how my taxable revenue gets allocated and distributed. Because it's not simply because I'm a selfless man. I'm so empathetic. I'm so fucking nice. It's because I understand that, like, in the grand scheme of things, I want this country to run a fucking certain way that I know will be more beneficial for every single person. And yes, a part of that is a greater distribution of taxable revenue from the wealthiest Americans. Okay? My opinion, low city turnout was a good take about a week ago. We saw a lot of evidence from cities and them spiking in the last 2 days of the election. ATL turned out 4% of all their RVs in one day on Friday. Vegas was big too. The signals are there for big city turnout. Revert back to 2016.
You have to kill everybody every day. And she was a nut job, just like her father. Her father got us into the Middle East. We spent $9 trillion. We ended up killing lots of people, including we lost a lot of people ourselves. But you add up both sides. We killed millions of people. We spent $9 trillion, you know?
I'm not kidding. This is a gift to Donald Trump. Okay? At a time when people are finally fucking paying attention to the election, now more than ever, a lot of dumb guys are tuning in and they're hearing him go, I'm anti-war. The Democrats love war. They love Liz Cheney. I didn't even want to kill Liz Cheney. I'm just saying she just needs a gun. And then you'll see how she behaves. If she were to die in war, she wouldn't want to go to war. Democrats love war. They want to kill people every day. Boom. All of a sudden, people are like, damn, that's right. There is seemingly endless war. Think about the dumb guys. Seemingly, there's endless war, huh? Gaza, Lebanon, Ukraine. Damn, the Democrats really fumbled the bag on this war shit, is the way that the average dummy thinks about this stuff. Okay? Donald Trump gets to, capture the attention of those guys and present himself as anti-war now in the fucking final hour. Meanwhile, Kamala's dumbass is fucking running around being like, I'm going to put Republicans in my cabinet. I love Liz Cheney. Liz Cheney is the best.
Oh, we got nothing. We blew the place up and we left, and we got nothing. We didn't keep the oil. We didn't do anything. So, her father got rich doing that, and she's probably worse than the father because she's not as smart.
President Trump, what you had to say the other day has been turned into, it's been distorted. It's been, as you said, turned into fake news. It's a lie. And you can take a look at some of the headlines that's been put out there, from the Drudge Report to the Washington Post to the New York Times. You've talked about this in the past. At least when it comes to the broadcast networks, they operate on a free spectrum. In the public interest is the conditions under which they have access to a free spectrum. You've filed defamation suits in the past. It seems there needs to be some accountability for this level. It certainly isn't in the public interest, but for this level of mischaracterization and lie, what can be some form of accountability for the media?
Well, there is. It's a very hard thing to do, but I think in the case of 60 Minutes, 60 Minutes actually asked her a question, she gave an answer, which is, this is your vice president or Harris or Kamala, whatever you'd like to call her. Nobody knows what to call her because
What? Nobody knows what to call her. Nobody. What's her name? Is it Kamala? Is it Gambala? Is it Kamala? Is it Harris? Is it Henry? I don't know.
most people don't even know who we're talking about. But she gave an answer that was so bad and so incompetent that they decided to take the answer out in its entirety and put a new answer in. This was the most important question that she was asked and the most important interview in 60 Minutes as part of the news organization of CBS. So what happens is they took it out.
If it's the most important interview, why did Trump refuse to do it? Like, what do you mean? You literally straight up refused to do your interview, dog. What the fuck?
And they gave a new answer. I said, whoa, that's a first. I've never seen that. So then we went to look at the whole interview, and they wouldn't show it because how many questions did they do that with? And so on behalf of the people, we sued 60 Minutes and CBS, and we think their license should be taken away. I think it's the greatest breach. I think it's the greatest insult to American citizens. Think of it. They ask her a question during an election, right up to the election, and the question is that of a very stupid person. That was her answer. And it was so bad. And, you know, they use the word salad. I hate it. I just don't think it's, yeah, there's something about it. It's not good. It doesn't fit me. But I'll tell you, they call it word salad. It was just a series of.
Damn, why'd you get triggered by the word salad, dude? It doesn't fit me. I never ramble. I weave. It's different.
Words that weren't connected. And there was something wrong with her. And they saw that. And so what they did is they took it out and they put a different answer in, entirely different, okay, which was a better answer, you know, normal. In other words, this was not a great answer, but it was an answer at least. And they went with it, and that's what they broadcast. I think it's the biggest scandal in broadcast history. What they did, nobody's ever heard of this before, where they take the answer and they put another answer in. So I sued them. And we'll see how the suit turns out, because I think it's a terrible thing, because our broadcasters have no value. The media is so corrupt in our country. Nobody's ever seen anything like it.
Mr. President, are you considering, because they're turning what you had to say into a call to execute Liz Cheney, are you considering defamation suits against the media enterprises who are putting that out today?
You know, the media is so dishonest, and they put out so many false stories that I'm not sure that we have enough lawyers in the country to handle it. Okay? There's so many false things. I mean, almost everything is they're 90% fake, and they put out answers. And you guys know, you understand it. You're legitimate, and you have a fantastic show. The chemistry in your show is unbelievable, and I don't have to tell you because you know that. But the chemistry, the three of you are unbelievable. So I congratulate you. That's not easy to do, but the news.
Literally the B team of Fox and Friends. No Greg Dusher, no Brian Kill Myself. Well, the woman is always like kind of irrelevant, but this is Fox. Not even the B team, the C team. God, I'm such a fucking freak. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me, dude? I have my favorite Fox and Friends team. Like, I'm over here ranking my favorite Fox and Friends lineup, dude. There is something irreparably broken inside of me. I have done far too much news. I've gone off the deep end.
Is so corrupt. You know, fake. I came up with fake news many years ago, and I think it's great. I'm honored to have come up with it, but it's actually not strong enough. It's beyond.
It's not Greg Douchey. It's Steve Douchey.
Corrupt.
Sorry, I fucked that name up.
Nobody's ever seen anything like it. So, no, I wouldn't think I would, but you know what I was doing with her.
And then his son is Peter Douche.
Simple. She was somebody that I met with in the White House, along with others. She always wanted to go to war with anybody. If somebody stepped one foot in the wrong direction, she'd like to blow them away. You know, so I call her Madam Tough Person. I said, "Oh, she's such a tough one." Oh, you know, jokingly, sarcastically, I'd say, "Oh, we have this tough one coming." Every time I saw her, I mean, literally, if there was a drone that happened to fall down on our property, she'd say, "We're going to go to war with Russia. Let's start a new war with Russia." So she was, and by the way, those aren't tough people. Those are stupid people.
Since it seems like turnout is not down, that is the key indication that I think Trump has an advantage, especially because it's in rural and exurban areas. This time, it may actually come down to turnout. Democrats have gained high turnout voters, while Donald Trump has made gains among groups that tend to show up only for presidential races or not at all. It depends on where turnout is coming from, okay? It depends on where turnout is coming from. But yes, I foresee high turnout being a troublesome prospect for Kamala Harris. Reason, I mean, it depends on which state we're looking at and which area we're looking at. But like historically, high turnout favors Dems. I know, but Donald Trump is crushing on low and mid propensity voters. If you want an interesting fact about cannibalizing vote early for Republicans in Vegas, 65% of all E-Day Republican voters in 2022 already cast their vote early this year. Only 45% of Democrat E-Day 2022 voters have voted early. A lot of analysis is that E-Day will be much more blue than people think in cities because these are power voters. They don't miss an election. I don't know. I mean, we shall see. What if the Dems are tapped out? Can you explain what propensity voters means? Yes. There is a ranking standard in the past 4 elections. If you voted in all 4, you are a high propensity voter. In the past 4 elections, if you have voted for 2 to 4 times, you are a mid propensity voter. In the last 4 elections, if you have voted 0 to 2 times, you are a low propensity voter. Yes, they count not primaries, they count midterms, I think. Or do they count primaries as well? They count primaries and midterms. I think they count midterms. Early voting shows New Jersey is red. I think it's not that unbelievable that E-Day voters will be more blue. One thing that I think is like would be wild is if New Jersey did go red. Like something crazy like that. God damn. Is midterms and presidential years only on the big days in November count for those 4 out of 4 to 0 out of 4 calculations? Also, it's why new young voters who voted in the primary, not the president yet, are considered 0 out of 4. Yeah, it's midterms and general elections not. If New Hampshire is close, hold on to your butt. At DC, no. New Jersey has the makeup of a state that could be like sneakily red. It's not, but it's too diverse, I think, to be red. But New Jersey is like a weird ass fucking state. I think the only thing that saves New Jersey from being red is that it's like one of the highest density suburb places in the country, I think. It has far too, like, the population centers are way too slammed up on top of one another, even if they're fucking suburbs. So when you are living on top of one another, even if you're literally living in a suburb, if you're living on top of one another, then you still have a likelihood of becoming more liberal. Its population density is far too high for it to be a red state. Unions are still strong Dem machine in huge cities everywhere, not enough rural. Yeah. That's why I've read over and over again that Wisconsin is the one to actually look at, despite what the polls are showing, because Wisconsin is like mostly rural, and the rural vote is incredibly strong in Wisconsin. So that one might be the one that shocks people, but it doesn't really matter because Pennsylvania is the only thing that matters. So yeah, you should also make a map like this with predictions, good content. Nah, I don't care.
Okay. And she was always like, pressing for word. In fact, it's why I had a fallout. I didn't want to deal with her too much because she was always like difficult, but she was like a war hawk. So what I was saying is, this is a big shit.
Why does population density affect libertarianism? No, population density affects liberalism, because a key predictor of whether you are going to vote Republican or liberal is your educational attainment, and beyond your educational attainment, the fact that you live in an urban environment or a diverse environment or not. If you literally, if you live in a high density area, you are consistently meeting people that are different than you, that have a diversity of opinion, that look different than you, might even speak a different language, have different educational attainment than you. And this causes you to be infinitely more empathetic to people, even if you are fucking hog-like. Okay? The hoggiest of hogs, and some of you literally are those hogs, by the way. You grew up in Alabama, you grew up in Mississippi, you grew up in fucking rural, segregated neighborhoods, and then you fucking go to college and you're like, oh my God, I didn't realize that black people were normal human beings, because the only time you've ever seen a black person is like on television or when they're crossing the street and you fucking hurriedly lock your goddamn car door. Okay? You live in like suburbs in rural parts of the country, and you never actually see like a brown person or a black person until you are in a diverse urban environment like a college campus. So that's usually how this works. That is why I say New Jersey is far too diverse and far too densely populated for it to be a red state. It's why I always crack up when people talk about how college is indoctrinating people into being liberals. Like, no, it's just the fact that you're in an environment where you meet people of color and you become more empathetic. Exactly. That's it. There is nothing. That's why I always say there's literally nothing that is more poisonous to the anti-trans discourse than just like a normal trans person existing in the real world alongside their coworkers. Okay? Because especially when you're a trans person, like, there's not a lot of media representation. There's not a lot of like representation at all. People oftentimes have never met a trans person. So when you are the first trans person that they've ever met and you're just like a normal person, they're going to be like, holy fuck, everything that I thought about trans people was just wrong. That's how it works. This is why diversity matters. This is why diversity is very important, like tremendously important. Like diversity for the sake of diversity in art and media is annoying, boring, whatever. It can be helpful. In you know, representation politics can be helpful in helping other people understand it better, but there's nothing better than just like a diverse learning environment, an actually diverse learning environment, an actually diverse working environment. That's why colleges maintain like a standard that reflects the broader population. Republicans hate that, and they think this is so unacceptable. I can't believe that you're, you know, letting in a certain amount of black people. You're doing that at the behest of, you're doing that and you're actually not letting in white people when you do that. And it's like, it's fucking bullshit. They're doing that so that the learning environment reflects the conditions of broader society. And it's a smart thing to do.
Shot, thinks she's hot stuff. Her father got us into war, killed millions of people. He pushing Bush around. And, you know, her father was one of them. And stupid guys like Bolton, too. You know, Bolton was a dummy. And what happens is we don't need that. You know, I had no wars, and yet we had the strongest country. We were totally respected by China, by Russia, by everybody. But you don't have to kill people every day to do that. I had no wars, but I rebuilt our military. It was peace through strength, and it was a beautiful thing. But what I said about her is that a lot of times these bullies, she's a bully. She's a nice female bully, okay? And a lot of times these bullies, they're really weak people. And all I said is, let's see how she does. I said, put a gun in her hand and let her go out and let her face the enemy with a gun in her hand. And they'll have 9 people or 12 people or 100 people. I said, let's see how she stands up, because I say she wouldn't have the guts to do it. You know, you have a lot of these Washington people, and they sit there and
Someone explain to me why the fuck Buzz Aldrin endorsed Donald Trump. Speaking of Space Force, is that why? Is it because of Space Force? Ed, how was Trump able to achieve the zero war notion during his presidency? That's a lie. America's had a 17-year period in its entire history where it wasn't actively engaged in war. Oh, it is the Space Force. That's what it is, huh? What the fuck just happened? Zin cups. Hold on. Me and Ms. and Will still going. What the skibbity? What the phantom tax? Trump increased drone strikes by 400% in one term. Yeah. So Donald Trump continued and greatly accelerated the war and bloodshed that its previous administration had championed, which was the Obama administration. Just like Barack Obama ran on ending the existing wars and then didn't do so and simply continued and greatly accelerated certain aspects of the war, including but not limited to the troop surge in Iraq. He did not close Guantanamo Bay. He did not prosecute people who tortured people in the previous administration. All of that was a lie. And Donald Trump also presented himself as a peaceful dove, as he said correctly that Hillary Clinton was a champion and an architect of the Iraq War, or a champion of the Iraq War, even though Donald Trump himself still turned around and accelerated the wars, including but not limited to drone strikes. Donald Trump actually was worse on our relationship with Iran than even Barack Obama was. Barack Obama's signature and foreign policy achievement was most likely the Iran denuclearization agreement. Donald Trump also in 2016 did another thing that a lot of people forget because he likes to fucking speak from both sides of the mouth and burn the candle on both ends. He would constantly yell about Barack Obama apologizing to the rest of the world on his apology tour because he went to like Japan and said sorry for the nukes or some shit. I don't even remember. He also regularly criticized Barack Obama, as did many Republicans at the time, for saying that there was a red line in Syria and then not crossing said or allowing Syria to cross said red line and not invading Syria. So what you have to remember is that the standards are very different. The standards are very different for both parties. The standards are very different for a black man versus a white man. But more importantly, or not more importantly, but just as importantly as that, is that Republicans can get away with saying everything about an issue, just as Tim Pool did when he was talking to Sam Cedar yesterday, partially because their base is dumber, okay? And partially because the media has a reactionary slant. Because a lot of the values that the Republican Party presents and represents, the Democratic Party also subtly has to abide by, okay? Both parties are captured by the corporate oligopoly. Both parties are pro-war no matter what, okay? And the Republicans have a lot more leeway, a lot more bandwidth in how fucking aggressive they can be in terms of being pro-war, whereas the Democrats have to constantly go against their base's best interest and go against their base's wishes, okay? In a situation where we have one far-right party and one center-right party, of course, the far-right party is going to have a lot more leeway in making erroneous claims. So I'll do you one better. Republicans have to be below a certain standard in order to be seen as genuine. That too. Yeah, Donald Trump showed that. Dems hate their base. Republicans fear theirs. Exactly. Dems hate their base so much, they're trying to fucking desperately change their base. They're like, hey, Republicans, vote for us, please. I'm Jewish. Why is there war? What does this mean? What does you being Jewish have to do with anything? So the party base is just Twitter and have no real effect on the world. Trump's North Korea policy was significantly better than Biden's, and his Ukraine policy is likely to save thousands of lives while Dem policies continue to push Ukrainians into the meat grinder. I don't know what Trump will actually end up doing with Ukraine. I think it's like his NATO shit. He's not actually fucking anti-NATO. He just got more money from NATO partners. Like, he got NATO partners to put more money into their own defenses. A policy that Biden continued as well. I don't think that Donald Trump is actually going to stop the war in Ukraine. Like, a lot of people say that because they think he's in the pocket of Putin or whatever, right? When in fact, I don't think he's going to be in the pocket of Putin and like come to the table and force Ukraine to make concessions to Russia to end the war, to end Russia's invasion. Because there are material interests at play there that are far larger. If Donald Trump ends up winning and he does not stop the flow of weapons into Ukraine, do not be shocked. I do not think he will stop funding Ukraine. I don't know why you guys think this. Foreign policy is bipartisan. Foreign policy is bipartisan. It is not directed by moral interests in defending Ukraine, as it is not directed by Trump's own personal potential allegiance to Vladimir Putin. It is directed by the military-industrial complex. And the military-industrial complex is absolutely and firmly committed to continuing both the war in Ukraine. Russia's unjustifiable incursion has been greatly beneficial for them. And they didn't necessarily like that we pulled out of Afghanistan to begin with. Worried the chatters have heard Trump say this shit enough that they believe it too. I think, weirdly enough, like liberals and Republicans kind of handshake on this side. Wait, hold on. Seltzer poll out in an hour. Important thing to take away from it. Sorry, not sorry. Not gonna care about the Seltzer poll because I grew up with an alcoholic, psychologically abusive father and constant state of distress, anxiety, and about the future. Hearing the key in the door every evening was my own Seltzer poll for the past 20 years. Sorry, not sorry. Alan Lichtman's 13 keys analysis is, I'm not going to care about it, because my own Alan Lichtman's keys analysis was every time I heard the key with my alcoholic, psychologically abusive father in a constant state of distress and anxiety and worry about the future every time he turned the key in the door. What? Brother, you got it trending? What the fuck? Yo voy a votar. Ay, 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 por Dios. Yo voy a votar por Donald Trump. Okay, we gotta stop. We gotta stop with this madness. You see the Onion's take on elderly American voters?
This is a very important election year, and I've been giving the candidates a lot of thought. I've looked at the issues from both sides. Not that it really matters. When the time comes, I am going to fill out my ballot wrong anyway. Sure, I could tell you which candidate I prefer, but there's not a doubt in my mind that on election day I'll misread the ballot completely and vote nowhere near the way I planned. Boy, I'm really going to screw it up. I just know that I'm going to step into that little booth, close the curtain behind me, and be totally confused about what I'm supposed to do next. Then I'll panic and just start filling in bubbles. I might fill in the bubble for my candidate, or it might be some other candidate I don't want at all, or both of them. Believe me, I am going to make a lot of mistakes.
This is ageism, man. Yeah, okay, it is, but it's also correct.
My guess is that they'll have to throw out my ballot completely. Don't get me wrong, I've had strong political beliefs my whole life. I know exactly what I want for my president. But even if my polling station has those computerized voting machines, I'll still mess things up badly. I can tell you right now that I'm not going to have any idea what button does what. Then I'll get flustered and I'll call the polling attendant over. He'll explain to me how it all works, but as soon as he leaves, I'll forget everything.
Hundreds of elderly political donors, including those with dementia, have fallen victim to Republican and Democratic political campaigns and groups. A single donation sparks a flurry of text messages and emails from candidates and political organizations across the country. The messages make urgent pleas for money and look as if they're coming directly from major political candidates. I love this because, like, the enshittification of the economy has also obviously tapped into the political sphere as well. I get so many of these fucking messages. Like, my phone is literally out of battery if I'm not constantly plugged into power by midday, specifically because of these exact messages, both from the Trump campaign and Republicans, and also from the Democrats. I am begging you, is how they open.
Damn, this guy's good.